Good day, all Magoebas ultra runners. It is a great honor and a privilege to give you the 50-kilometer ultra route preview. So, just kind of running through the most important things that you need to be aware of as a runner for the 50-kilometer ultra route. So, we're trying really to establish this as one of the most iconic 50-kilometer races in the country. And in order for us to kind of achieve that goal, the race needs to be tough, really like worth it in that sense. So it really needs to be something that challenges you and really takes you out of your comfort zone. And then, yeah, it also needs to be something that is extremely beautiful and very unique. And we really believe that this 50-kilometer route really ticks all those boxes. So we are super excited to present to you the new 50-kilometer ultra route, and we're super excited to have Hi-Tec as our presenting sponsor on board this year as well. So without further delay, let's run through the main points here. So we'll be chatting about the following things in this presentation. We'll quickly look at just quick stats for the race. We'll look at the start times and cutoff times. We'll look at the race profile, the aid stations and checkpoints, and then also quickly through iconic sections. And then lastly, we'll do a quick fly through of the route that you can just basically start orientating yourself with regards to the lay of the land and just how the race will unfold. So firstly, looking at just quickly stats for the race. So the actual distance that we've measured for this event for the 50-kilometer is roughly 52.5 kilometers. So just a quick note on that. When you actually look at the International Athletics Federation and International Trail Running Association, the regulations state that a race should be within 10% of the advertised distance. So because it's extremely difficult to get perfect measurements on a trail running route, they've made allowance for that variation basically of 10% on races. So we strongly believe that if you run with the correct GPS settings and a very accurate GPS watch, you will record very close to 52.5 kilometers. But yeah, just be aware of that if you're running with less accurate settings on your GPS watch, etc., you might measure quite a bit more or less than that. So just be aware of that. We've taken all the precautions and measures that we can to try and get the most accurate measurement. But yeah, just don't come and fight with us if your watch measures 57.5, but you've run it on quite inaccurate GPS settings, and yeah, your measurements aren't that accurate. So in any case, getting back to the point, our actual distance will be 52.5 kilometers. Total vertical gain would be roughly 2,200 meters. So it's quite a proper challenge in terms of climbing. When we're looking at the terrain, we're looking at a plus minus 34 kilometers of single track, and a lot of that will be quite technical as well. So be prepared for a big part of the race that will be run on single track. Roughly looking at 18 kilometers of forestry road, which is obviously quite open and very runnable. So we've really changed that when compared to 2022. We've added quite a bit of forestry road sections to just give a bit more runnable sections to you as a runner, where you can also make up time and avoid any cutoffs. So in 2022, the average finishing time for the 50-kilometer was 9 hours 11 minutes, but that was on the previous route that I do think is a bit more difficult than this one. But nonetheless, this route is still very challenging. So just a quick look at climbing in the first half. It's almost 70% of the total climbing. It's about 1,450 meters that you'll climb in the first half of the race almost. So yeah, so be prepared to do more than half of your climbing in the first half, and then a bit less in the second half. But also, of course, that means there's a lot of downhill in the second half, which yeah, you really need to save the legs for as well. So just quickly looking at times that's very important for you as a runner to be aware of. We're looking at a 5:30 a.m. start time on Sunday, 19 March. Please note that you, as a 50-kilometer runner, need to get to the start on your own. We do not have shuttles for the 50-kilometer guys. because you guys can actually park at Debengeni Falls, basically in Forestry Road. So yeah, just be aware of that, please. We'll give further updates about the state of the road after all the rain and flooding. And yeah, we still advise a high clearance vehicle, and we also advise that you guys try and lift club to the start, basically, to yeah, that we have as little as much traffic, and yeah, don't have too many cars. So if you can bum a lift, please do. But yeah, just be aware that start is 5:30, and you need to make sure that you get there well ahead of time, and also plan in for traffic on route there. So really, please make sure that you are there on time. So our finish line cutoff would be 5:30 in the afternoon. So that gives you 12 hours to complete this race. So it sounds like a lot of time. It's basically same as Comrades, but yes, yeah, it sounds like a lot of time, but you're really gonna have to work hard to finish in that 12 hours. It's not an easy feat, I think. So yeah, make sure that you really work hard. So we've put in 3 cutoffs this time for your own safety, and yeah, just to make sure that we don't leave you on the mountain at a too late stage, and yeah, it can become quite dangerous for you as a runner as well. So we've put in these 3 cutoffs. So at 8:30, our first cutoff will be at Woodbush Hut, at the Woodbush aid station. That's 3 hours into the race. So you've got 3 hours to complete those 11 kilometers. Once again, that sounds like a lot, but you're going to have to really work hard to get there. And then second cutoff would be at around 10:30. So that will be at 21 k's at Broederstroom Hut. So that's 5 hours into the run. And then we'll have a last cutoff at Magic Miles checkpoint, which is 41 kilometers into the race, and that will be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So 9 hours, 30 minutes to get there. That is basically just before you start descending down into the valley again. And yeah, we just don't want runners entering that part of the route if we know that we're not going to get them off the mountain in time. So yeah, please be aware of that. That those are the cutoff times for the 50 kilometer. Okay, so quickly looking at the route profile, we've got a roughly, like we said, a total vertical gain of about 2,200 meters. We've got a lowest point of the race, which is at the start, and finish, which is about 992 meters above sea level. And then we also have the highest point, about 1,876 meters above sea level. So yeah, that takes you quite through a massive range of altitude, with a lot of climbing between those points. So if you basically look here, if we can quickly just discuss the 2 main climbs. So basically right from the start, you'll climb basically all the way up, just past 5Ks, and this first 5 kilometers is really tough with a massive amount of climbing. Also have the wall of Magoebas right in here, and then it's quite undulating and still climbing towards Woodbush. Yeah. And then once again, quite undulating with a lot of climbing as you make your way to Broederstroom, which is about 21 k's about here. And then the second big climb would be basically King of Snelkop, we called it. So this starts around here at the Woodbush picnic spot, and that basically goes up a forestry road. Can really smash it if you want. And then it basically runs this ridge that we call Ricardo Ridge, and that goes up to the steep section that we call Smuggler's Revenge, and all the way up to the highest point there. And then, yeah, basically your descent starts from about there. So that's just a quick look at the main climbs. Like we said, 2 main climbs that we kind of made, or kind of named in this route. It's basically this first 5 kilometers. That's really one of your tougher climbs, and then the second big climb would be King of Snelkop, going up from here to the highest point. Yeah, but yeah, the route is very undulating otherwise as well. So when we're looking at aid stations and checkpoints, there's going to be 5 points that you need to be aware of. The first one would be the Hi-Tec Woodbush aid station. So that is around about 11 kilometers. Going to have a nice vibe there. So that's your first aid station. Second aid station would be Bruderstrom aid station, which is about at 21 kilometers. Then we've got a halfway seconding point, which is at Woodbush picnic spot. So that's roughly at about 25 kilometers. And this is the point where your spectators and supporters will be able to basically second you, yeah. So they can come and give you some nutrition, whatever, yeah, change of shoes, whatever you need. Your support team can get you at the Woodbush picnic spot. And yeah, if just to make you aware, if you want to use that, please chat to us to get the right directions to actually make sure that they end up at the right place. So that would be the halfway seconding point. Then we've got a ZZ2 aid station at the top of Snelkop, which is about roughly 32 kilometers into the race. Then we have another checkpoint at Magic Miles, which is roughly 41 k's into the race. There's no like aid station there, it's just a checkpoint, so you'll just get your number ticked off there by the marshals, and then you'll start to descend down into the valley. So please note that the last aid station where you'll receive any form of nutrition or food or snacks or whatever from the race organizer's point of view would be at 32 kilometers at Snelkop. So from 32 kilometers all the way basically to the finish, you're going to have to make sure that you have enough food and nutrition on yourself to make sure that you can get to the finish. In that section from 32 to the finish, there will be more than enough water. So you don't need to stress about water or anything like that. There will be a massive amount of water on the route that's drinkable, but you need to make sure that from a nutrition perspective, you've got yourself covered after that last aid station at Snelkop. Right, so when we look at some of the iconic segments that we have on the 50-kilometer route, the Wall of Magoebas, that section is really actually quite longer, but the real stinging part of it, we've made a section that's 1.6 kilometers in length, and it climbs 271 meters in altitude, which is quite rough. Yeah, then we've got sections like Tall, Taller, Tallest, which takes you through the tallest planted trees in the world. Then we have King of Snelkop, which is our new climb. It's 6.7 kilometers in length with about 342 meters of elevation gain. So not such a steep climb, but quite a long one. And then we've got Ricardo Ridge, which is really beautiful at the top of the mountain, with extremely beautiful views if it's an open day. Then we have Magoebas Magic Miles, which is some quite nice flowing single track that takes you down towards the Bengeni again. And then this year, the 50-kilometer guys will also run on the Bility Playground, which is this beautiful single track next to the Bility River as you approach the Bengeni Falls. So that brings us basically to our fly-through of the route. So just to orientate yourself nicely. All right, so basically start at the Bengeni, start with the concrete climb, steep up. Then we'll go onto the forestry road, which is quite runnable, and the gradient is quite easy. Then we'll turn off into the single track. In here, you'll be in indigenous forests. It's really, really beautiful. Making your way up. Then around about here, we'll get the Wall of Magoebas. As you see, that really kicks up very steeply. So that's the Wall of Magoebas. And then you kind of run along this ridge. Really, really beautiful. Get a bit of a descent here, which is really nice and fast. And then you get another little kicker, bit of a climb up here. All indigenous forests. And then the route starts opening up at Seepsteenmule's hut, which is about right about in this turn here. And then you'll go through some more indigenous forests. And then you'll join forestry road here that goes up to Woodbush, which is aid station 1, and that is right there. Then you make your way out towards the tallest planted trees in the southern hemisphere right there. Then this section here is really undulating. You can't really get into any form of rhythm. Still a lot of climbing to do in this area. And then you just follow the single track around the mountain here as it contours on this side of the valley. Yeah, really difficult to get into any form of a rhythm. This is also single track. And then about at this point, the route actually changes from the 2022 route. Here you'll turn right and not left. And then this is all forestry road now from about 17 kilometers. All forest road. It's downhill. This is going to be quite nice and fast. You'll be able to really free the legs here as you make your way to the Woodbush, to the Broederstroom aid station. The 34-kilometer guys will also run this part. All right, so there you'll find the Broederstroom aid station, and then you'll turn left. This is forestry road. You'll pass Waterfall Hut right about there. Forestry road still. This is a long part of forestry road that you'll really be able to make up some nice time. You'll be next to the Dapnudia Dam there, as you can see. This is still all forestry road. And then when we turn right here into the Woodbush picnic spot, this is where your supporters will be able to see you. Then we start with the King of Schnellkop climb, all on forestry road. As you can see, it climbs quite a bit, but it's quite a nice gradient. And then you can see Ricardo Ridge at the top there, with beautiful views to the north, all the way to the Soutpansberg. So last part of that forest road climb, yeah, we'll start entering some nice, really nice running on this ridge. It follows this fire break, sometimes single track, sometimes forestry road. It follows this area. It's really extremely beautiful, with beautiful views towards the south and towards the north. This part is Smuggler's Revenge. It's very steep up here. There we'll have the ZZ2 aid station. And then we're going down this concrete climb here, following some forestry road again. Yeah, beautiful views to the left onto ZZ2's properties in the Muketsi Valley. This is still forestry road. So once again, you'll be able to really make time on those sections. And then we start descending down into this valley again. Here we turn onto single track again. So onto the single track here. We'll go across the Broederstroom. All right, and here the route joins up again with the 34-kilometer guys. This is all single track. Also a beautiful part. It's a bit of a drier part of indigenous forest there. And then here we'll have our checkpoint at Magic Miles right there. And then we'll start the descent going down towards Tebengeni. So this is a beautiful contouring path that kind of hugs the mountain. And most of this is downhill, as you can see. It's really fast and flowing. And if you really saved your legs, you can really, really make up a lot of time on this as well. There is parts that's quite technical that you need to be really careful of. But a lot of that is very runnable and really, really nice running. And then we get to some steep sections here, really steep downhill sections. But that's really, really a nice part of the route. And then here we basically make our way towards the Politsi River. Right, we turn left into the Politsi playground section that follows the Politsi River, past the Kolewa Pool's huts. And then basically just you make your way back to Tebengeni Falls, right about there. Yeah, so that's basically the 50-kilometer route for you. And yeah, that's basically the long and the short for the 50K. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or any uncertainties regarding the route. And yeah, we also have a virtual race briefing in race week that will cover a lot of these points again. But yeah, we hope your preparations go as well in this last few weeks till race day. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you in Magoebas Kloof.